What up, YouTube? I'm Anwar,
I'm Keith.
and welcome to the War Room.
Yes, sir.
Ooh, wait. What up, baby?
Not much, man. What's going on?
Man, shit. Maintaining, man. Is it safe to come outside now?
Yeah, it should be. I mean, I think all the shooting has stopped. So, man, that was a crazy night, man. That was, I put it to being, it's a hood party. You know, somebody, it's a pretty good chance somebody is going to get shot, but you got to go. You can't miss this one. And that's how I felt.
That's
We're
exactly how
talking
it was.
about the Gucci versus Jeezy versus battle last night. Crazy.
Crazy. So, yeah, for those of you who aren't aware, the Versus is what just a platform they've been using for different hip hop artists and R&B artists from different eras and what have you, taking their resume of songs and what have you, compared to the other person, and they're having a battle. And eventually, there's no real decided winner. It's just more or less a general consensus, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And this one definitely was no different. You want to talk about a true heavyweight fight, for lack of a better term. I mean, it doesn't really get much bigger as far as these two individuals with Gucci Man and Jeezy. Both got extensive resumes. Both have been in the game. Pretty much 20 years. I mean, going back to that album dropping, some of this stuff dropping in '02, '03, and all of the turmoil involved in this whole situation, which has led up to now.
Yeah, yeah, man. That was it was a long time coming. I mean, it's always been well, who you think better, one of those type of things. So, um, yeah, man, it started off. I don't know about you. It started off with me being nervous. I didn't know what was going on, and then as the night went on, I think my nerves just got worse. So, how'd you experience it?
Agreed. I had happened to get on. Shout out to my man D. He sent me the link because I'm slowly getting acclimated with all this Instagram stuff, and I'm still not too familiar. But he sent me the link, and I ended up putting it on both of my phones. But just kind of my immediate reaction as it was happening, and yeah, it was interesting. It was like you said, because of their history, and for those of you who don't know, these two, it's well documented that these two, it's safe to say, do not get along
Oh yeah,
whatsoever.
yeah. I think it's safe to say that. I mean,
That's almost an understatement at this point, right?
yeah, yeah. They don't. No, they're not. They're not friends at all.
No.
So
And for those who don't really understand, we're going back, I want to say, like I said, 2002, 2003. Now I'm
yeah,
19, 20 years old at this point, and these guys are just kind of stepping to the forefront. The trap music thing, Jeezy really put that on the map. And, these guys were both young and up and comers, and Gucci's dropping the song So Icy. And, I
oh
feel
yeah,
like they had respect for each other then, but, that was an opportunity for both of them to get exposure. Jeezy had already locked up his deal with Def Jam, and, Gucci was still on the underground scene. But, the behind the scenes, I guess Jeezy never really liked the song, but he did the feature
hmm
because it was an opportunity, obviously, to make some money and obviously
yeah,
get some more exposure as well. And I don't know what led up to them not getting along, but it got to the point that people died. And allegedly, not allegedly, the legend has it, for lack of a better term,
yep,
Gucci was in some type of apartment interacting with some female, and Jeezy has supposedly sent some hitters his way, and these guys were plotting to kill Gucci Man, and Gucci Man ended up getting into some type of shootout, and actually he hit one or two and he killed one.
yeah,
Ever since that point, it's just literally been this giant elephant in the room, and for them to be both in Atlanta, both be prominent artists, and both have such an impact, and a lot of lines were divided as far as that. Like a lot of people, as far as in that situation, you were either riding with Gucci or you're riding with Jeezy, as far as those people that were like directly interacting with that. So for that, what was fascinating to me is for this to have lasted so long and them to essentially, just kind of stay out of each other's way. I don't think anybody was obviously scared to go there. We both know they're about that life, but for them for it to never go anywhere else other than just diss tracks and what have you is pretty remarkable in itself.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's almost mind blowing. What a 20-year long beef that never, after something like that, usually by now, both of them probably would have been dead by now. You know.
Yeah, it would have been a war. Somebody's dying on the other side, aside from, obviously what happened with Gucci Man. But there's some type of retaliation back and forth. You would have thought, right?
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. It's mind boggling that it wasn't. So, it's
Yeah.
it's definitely crazy.
And, to your point, these guys are, like I said, 20 years in the game, dropped all these albums, been able to reach superstardom, and have ascended into, CEOs and doing other endeavors and other business things. And for it to literally, at a drop of a dime, go just throw it all away and get street, it was, we're really only like this far from shit hitting the fan. And yesterday was I felt like it was gonna go down. I know when I was watching it, first of all, it was late as hell. You know how we are. We late to our own funeral. Took forever to come on.
There's on CP time.
Definitely on CP time. It was at Magic City,
Yeah.
famous strip club in Atlanta. And they had the whole setup with the stage and the two really nice golden chairs with the black leather, and it took a while for everything to come out. But if you look at that whole timeline of verified accounts, everybody and their mama was in the building, and then there was being 2 million people.
Yep. About 2 million. I mean, like I said, my mama was in there, man. That was crazy. I mean, I was in that song. Yeah, Snoop Dogg.
Wale said something about Drew Lock had with a burner account. Did you see that?
Oh yeah. He definitely was in there.
Donnie Wahlberg. I mean, it was just random people that were a lot of obviously celebrities and athletes, and
Sauce Walker was in there.
Yep. Snoop Dogg, like I said, Snoop Dogg was there. Trying to think who were some other celebrities that obviously all the rappers were in the mix, but I'm just thinking of guys that really had no correlation with what was going on. I seen Trey Young was in there.
Obviously. I saw Shannon Sharp in there.
Oh, no shit. That's what's up.
Yeah, he was in there.
I mean, honestly, I feel like I haven't really watched any of the other ones. I've just kind of heard about them in the background, Teddy Riley and Babyface, and the potential of Busta Rhymes and T.I. And I think even Jeezy, they were supposed to have one in that kind of, I don't know if that's still in the works, but they've had some solid matchups so far.
Oh yeah. They had some good ones. I mean, if you see it's crazy because from how it started to how it is now. It's crazy. It really is. It's because the first versus battle was awful. Internet kept messing up with Teddy Riley.
Yeah. They had to reschedule, right? It was the next day, I think.
Yeah, I think they ended up rescheduling that one because it was awful. It was god awful, man. It was like, what is this? What is this? And then when they made their own. And then at first it wasn't like a versus having a page. It was versus, you just go on your Instagram live, I go on mine, people using their own phones. Now it's, more of, you use their stuff, you use their equipment. That way nothing won't be skipping, won't nothing be missing or anything like that. So, I mean, it's way better than the first one. I mean, the only one I got really, really, really watched before this one, it was Snoop Dogg and DMX. That one was amazing too.
Wow. I guess I forgot all about that one.
Yeah, that one was dope, bro. Because I mean, those are two guys I heard. Me being a youngin, I heard them all the time, like literally all the time, every day. You heard Snoop Dogg, and then of course you got what Flesh of My Flesh, Blood of My Blood with
Dark as Hell is Hot. I mean,
yeah,
DMX was
yeah.
that. When DMX came out on that 4321 on LL's remix, man, I'm like, who is this cat? And then for him to come out with Get At Me, Dog, that just totally just changed the game for me growing up, man.
Oh,
I had that album on CD, playing it in my boombox. I remember that. Def Jam
I'm
Records.
talking about
Yeah,
the
so
black and white video with the black flashing lights. Oh man, that was incredible. I remember that.
yeah, that was it because they were in. I feel like that was the. I want to say that was the Tunnel, if I'm
Yep.
not mistaken. And I mean,
Mm-hmm.
that was a rowdy, legendary club that all types of anything was bound to happen in that venue. It was a lot of violence, a lot of guns, long legacy of just all types of altercations and memorable performances that happened in that venue. But yeah, like you said, at its onset, Versus kind of struggled, and guys were trying to use their own phone, and then they were smart enough to develop their own platform. And even yet, and still, I know I was having difficulties where I was kind of getting booted in and out of the room. I don't know if anybody else was having that. It
I
seemed like
was
there was some
lucky enough to
delays too.
stay in. I was lucky enough to be able to stay in, and I mean, it was a couple times it like paused for a second, but I was
Right.
always get back in there.
Yeah,
So
I was able to get right back in. But yeah, but at its onset, right? I think Jeezy set the tone, and going in, I felt like Jeezy. If I was to have my pick before we even saw anything happening, I was gonna go with Jeezy just because he already had more mainstream and commercial hits, and you know
yeah,
he he's a lot of his shit has been able to set the tone, and now Gucci's been out just as long, but he's truly really coming to the forefront really
yeah.
just recently, honestly, within the last, I don't know, five, six,
Years of him
7
being
years.
out.
A lot of people, I had a lot of Gucci's early albums, those
Yeah,
were all major releases on Atlantic and Warner Brothers. And, but he still didn't have that mainstream notoriety. A lot of, he was actually putting out, they were almost like mixtapes, but they were albums. I mean, the Burr Print, East Atlanta Santa, and Trap God, and all these were all like major releases, but would be considered mixtapes in most people's eyes. So I felt coming in because of all of what Jeezy had, I think he had the upper hand, and early on, I think he set the tone, and then you start to have the shift, right, and then like I know, everything just got really awkward, and then
yeah, yeah. It got like I said, it's like being at a party and the two dudes don't like each other walk in and then they make eye contact, like, or you see one of them said something to the other one. It's like, uh-oh.
or they're both here. One's on one end of the building, the one's on
Yeah,
the other end, and they haven't crossed paths yet.
yeah. And they're walking in the direction of one another. It's like, uh-oh. Like, oh man. So it's it was it got intense for a while. I mean, at first, of course you got Gucci coming out with the disc early.
Yeah,
It's like, okay, well, all right.
he was sneak dissing quite a bit early on, right?
Yeah, but it's like, hey, that's Gucci, whatever. And then you got, them little back and forth, them talking. Then it just went real left. It went real left, real fast, buddy.
And
With
I felt like the whole time, if anybody was gonna incite that, it was gonna be Gucci. And
oh
I can't knock him, obviously. I mean, we can't blame Gucci for being upset and making his little disses. But like you said, it was the little stuff like play some new stuff, or the king is back, or whatever those little subliminals that were going on. And I was like, all right, okay. And then all of a sudden it just was like, then the truth comes on and it's like, oh shit, here we go. Exactly.
Mhm.
Uh-oh.
Yeah,
Exactly. That's how I felt. I felt like a baby and was like, uh-oh. Yep. Put him
yeah.
in a
See,
casket and, he's
yeah,
mad because I fucked his ex-girl. And I'm just like, oh, shit. And then the mic drops, right? And then it's like, or the music drops and he's like, you know, I sent him back in a casket and you send anybody else, I'll send him the same way. And I'm just
that's
like,
right. Oh dear. And you can kind of hear it in Jeezy's voice. Okay, it was about to be like, you know what? I didn't had enough of this nigga right now. So yeah, it was crazy, man. It really was. I don't. I'm trying to think. I can't think of anything in a while being that hostile. You know what I'm saying?
right.
When was the last time, like the tension in the room, you like, uh-oh.
And we're not even there. Like, I've never been so nervous about something that I'm not involved with whatsoever and watching from TV screen.
Yeah, that's about right, man. Yeah, I'm like, oh man, what's gonna happen? Which one of these motherfuckers? It was almost like, okay, who's gonna shoot first?
Right. When is this going to turn all the way left? And you already knew the entourages and stuff were on the sides. You couldn't see them, but you
Yeah.
know that,
Well, you
that
could see
nobody was
Jeezy's.
jumping
You
by
couldn't
themselves.
see. Well, you could see Gucci's. You couldn't see Jeezy's.
Right. But you got Pooh Shiesty on the side. I was seeing some stuff on YouTube. He
Oh
had
yeah.
made a couple comments about Jeezy's a fake Crip and he's scared, and you just saw the jawing back and forth. But kudos to Jeezy though for you really couldn't have handled that situation really any better. I mean,
Yeah.
I know there's certain
And you
people
could,
that are trying to give him flack, but honestly, in lieu of all the stuff that's been happening, all the unfortunate casualties and deaths and shootings that we've had in the last week, 4 rappers, 2 are dead and 2 are shot.
yeah.
Who's possibly going to get his leg amputated because he got hit with an AK, I guess. Uh, what was Jeezy supposed to do in that situation, right? Other than literally have to take the high road. You're literally on camera. If this
You,
escalates into some type of altercation, it's going to end bad, and we're all going to literally watch a live snuff film, for lack of a better term.
yeah. I mean, you pretty much mess up verses at the end because then it's like, okay, people gonna be on here fighting. Okay, well we can't do this no more. So yeah, I don't know what people expected. I mean, you could tell it bothered him, and he looked real pissed off about it. Like,
Yeah,
so it was.
I mean, he was like, "Yo, I approached you as a man, and we said we was going, drop it for the sake of the culture, and we supposed to be doing this for Nipsey and Mo, and you know King Von and all these guys and stuff, and I feel like they might have, I guess, took the high road for the sake of stuff on camera, but shit hasn't
Yeah,
gotten any better. Like, if anything, you've just kind of incited, just opened new wounds. Unless behind the scenes they were like, all right, we're gonna play this up a little bit WWE style, but I didn't get the vibe that was anything of theatrics or any type of we're gonna play it up for the audience. Because I mean, you talking about literally people have died behind this, so I don't see this whole thing of like I saw stuff that people were like they already discussed this and it was somewhat staged. I don't know. I find that really hard to believe. They might have discussed it to the point that all right, we're gonna get this shit done, but I mean I don't know.
yeah. I can see that them like discussing it beforehand, and then you're gonna say this, and when it's played, we're gonna argue a little bit, but then at the end, we're gonna show that we cool. I can see that. I can see that.
Yeah, you never know. I mean, the one thing that I did think was cool from a marketing standpoint they both released albums, and especially like, did you see the part where Gucci had dropped a song and then the music dropped, and then he was like, "Yeah, as soon as I'm done here, I'm dropping. What's the album that he's dropping? He
Who
was dropping.
Jeezy was dropping Recession too.
Yep, and Gucci Man dropped, I think, a re-release of just some. Oh, it
Oh,
was like an album of all of the singles that he performed at the Magic City. Everybody was capitalizing. Even Travis Scott, I got an email that his clothing line, he was selling T-shirts that had like an iced out snowman and an iced out ice cream cone, and then it said on the back like Jeezy Gucci Mane, and then it looked like almost like a title fight like type shirt where it had the date and them fighting, them going against each other and whatnot. So, but yeah, man, it was at first, like I said, I was on YouTube and just kind of talking about that and some other stuff, and then it got to a point I was a little premature about it, but I was like, this is getting. I won't say it was getting kind of lame, but it was getting kind of underwhelming because like it was a point where they weren't even really like they weren't reciting anything. The music was on, but they were just kind of standing around. And then I'm like, all right, well, I'm gonna get off of YouTube, and then I still continue to watch, and then, like you said, everything just started to turn up, and then it got better and better and better, and it was dope. And then the culmination was awesome. As far as you've seen that coming though, right? I knew they were gonna end it with So Icy. It only made sense, right? So
yeah, it was like, at first when I heard Jeezy, like, are we gonna do this or not? I'm like, oh, these niggas about to start shooting at each other. Okay. And I knew it was gonna be gunshots here. And then, they dropped the beat and I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, this was planned. Yeah,
like
definitely.
I said, overall, I'd have to give it to Jeezy. Not by much, but I have to give it to Jeezy.
Oh yeah, you got to.
Like I said, I feel like from a tally mark, it's based on like hits. Jeezy won it, but those power punches Gucci had with putting the diss tracks out there and some of that stuff, and then even when he made his little comment about look at my opponent, all those little subliminals took it to another level. So he definitely won from that level of it as far as truly taking shots. But there's still a level of that in hip hop. I mean, when you're dealing with beef, that's a whole other thing. But I expected some type of, some little smart comments or some subliminal shit or somebody saying something slick or being relatively disrespectful. It's hip hop. That's a part of the culture, and it's a competitive format of music. So some of that stuff I expected. But yeah, once Gucci just started unloading the clip, man, I was just like, yo, this shit is. You could just see it even in people's reaction when they were watching it. Everybody's like, oh boy, here we go. Everybody was really like kind of at the edge of their seat, not like you said, anticipating that somebody is about to go down here, either now or right outside in the parking lot.
Yeah. As soon as you said that, that's when she started screaming. So even she
Yep.
knew.
That's what I thought too. I felt the same way. Like,
Ain't no gunshots. It's okay.
It was awesome though. It was. I was like I said, I was a little premature because it got a little stagnant for a minute, but man, they got right back into it. I mean, they were out there for a while. I mean, to
Yeah,
have
yeah.
that many songs and that many verses, man, because they were only doing a verse apiece, but they both got a long catalog.
Oh hell yeah. And it almost went to the point where it was like they would perform almost the whole song. Like both of them would like kind of perform like, okay, he gonna perform this whole song and he gonna perform this whole song. It's like, oh, okay.
Right. I just wish Gucci had a lot of firepower that he
Yeah.
didn't use. Like we had talked about before. Everybody
Every,
looking. I don't know how you didn't play that one. And
yeah, that's one of my favorites.
one of my favorites. And he's just got so many other songs. I can't really think of them off the top of my head. But just from his whole catalog that he's made, that I wish he would have brought out. And then at that point, it would have been neck and neck. It could have potentially been a tie. But, it still was dope nonetheless, though.
Oh yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah.
It was
And
amazing. It was fun. I mean,
yeah,
The best things, when you're a kid, you're doing, the more danger, the better. Because this shit felt so dangerous, I think that's what really, really made it fun. You know,
Right.
you felt that element of, oh shit could go down.
The adrenaline of it, and we live for that. And then if it does go too far, then all of a sudden, it's that other extreme of like, this has to stop. So it's just weird trying to balance that kind of stuff because like a lot of times it gets to that tipping point where boil is over and then you already know how them guys get down. There ain't no coming back. So
Yeah,
but yeah,
yeah,
man, all in all, it was awesome. And I feel
yeah.
like I haven't seen a lot of them, but I've heard of a few of the battles they have. This is definitely one of their best ones just
Oh yeah,
because the implications involved and, they match up very well as far as like the Snoop DMX is dope in itself, but like I don't really see the correlation, right? But
well, dogs.
like the dogs, yeah, okay. So then I guess that
It
makes
was
sense. I was
actually
thinking
really, really,
that,
really good too.
right. I was thinking the dog part of it, but as far as like I wouldn't have never thought that they would have aligned, but it was still dope nonetheless, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was it. And then what'd you think about the draft? I didn't get a chance to holler at you.
And, and I wasn't really impressed with nobody. Anybody at the anybody that Detroit picked out. Like I said, I wanted to move up and grab LaMelo. I mean, the the Killiam kid ain't bad, but I just wanted them to be more aggressive. That was all. You know, I wanted what's his name, Obi. I was
Yeah,
like,
that's what I mean. He was
oh,
there. I
but
wanted Obi. He was right there. I wanted Obi, Halliburton, and Maxey. The only thing I'll give him kudos on as far as the Pistons, I did like the fact that he was willing to make some trades and trying to, get some stuff going and finesse a couple of things and whatnot. Uh, I mean, we did get a point guard. It wasn't the point guard that I wanted, but it looks like the kid is going to be talented. But we've just, once again, there's nobody on that team that is going to make me want to spend. If we ever get to go back to a game,
yeah,
there's nobody on that team that I'm going to want to spend my money to see.
yeah. This is about like a 6-year build that they're trying to do. It seems like, yeah, but I'm not. I'm not. Oh my God, I want to go see the Pistons play. Absolutely not. No, I
No,
still don't want to see them play.
no,
Yes.
exactly. But
Yeah.
like when I was initially watching, Edwards went number one. Like I figured. I mean, just from a logic standpoint, they already got a point guard. They pretty much got their power forward center. You needed some wing help. So a lot of people were, as far as when you start looking at his analysis, a lot of people weren't really like overly impressed with Edwards. They're kind of picking him apart. I think the youngin is nice. I think he's going to be a really good player, potential all-star. I like
Yeah.
his talent level, But like you said, this wasn't the most impressive draft class.
Yeah.
I won't even
Yeah.
say it was
Kind
top
of like
heavy
it was
because
like, yeah, very top heavy. And then what really made me odd is the trades they made today, getting Okafor and what's the guy from the Nuggets?
wait a minute, hold on, back up. We got Jaleel Okafor.
Yeah,
We signed for him.
yeah, and we got what's the guy from
Miles Plumlee. Yeah, you sent that 3 years, 25 million.
yeah,
Like
I'm
I
like,
said, why are
why?
you? Why? Why?
Yeah, I didn't get it, but it's like maybe it's something going on that they know and we don't know about, man.
I mean,
So
Miles is okay, but I mean, he wouldn't have been the first guy I would have been going after. You can't tell me there weren't some other available free agents that we could have went after. But I don't know. At this point, I'm just never surprised that we always just end up doing some underwhelming shit anyway. So he must have got booted out. My man lost his signal, but like I said, hell of a performance. Yeah, I think we'll just wrap it up because I lost my homie. But appreciate y'all tuning in. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. As Keith would say, tell a friend to tell a friend. Appreciate y'all tuning in. Be safe.